As time progresses, humanity witnesses technological advancements that continue to amaze society, but many of these inventions have been used by one side to threaten another. Often, when countries make advancements, they feel as if they need to assert their dominance over other countries. This assertion of dominance creates barriers that cause tension and conflict. Instead of creating barriers between each other, countries should change their thought process to work as a community. With weaponry advancements such as cyber warfare in China and modern weaponry in North Korea, alongside environmental advancements like renewable energy in Sweden, governments need to reevaluate their priorities to better the global community.
With our ever-changing world, cyber warfare is becoming a looming threat. With the creation of more technology and the power that it possesses, many people fear what governments may do with their information, being that it is so easily accessible. Fighting countries also have similar problems, with hackers being able to break security and access secret files at ease. What protection do individual countries have against cyber warfare? One country that is investing heavily into this idea is China. China is an increasing world power, as shown from their economic GDP growth, working from a third world country to almost being considered first world. They also have founded their own military unit devoted to cyber warfare. It is reported, theoretically, it would allow them to concentrate resources in one place and create specialized forces, and might make it easier to plan joint operations. These operations could be against any enemy country that they might be at war with. The threat extends, however, as China has been looking to advance in the field of cyber warfare ever since the trend began. China's pursuit of new technology leaves other countries scared of potential attacks. A company, CrowdStrike, documented 7 Chinese cyber attacks against U.S. technology and pharmaceutical companies, where the primary benefit of the intrusion seems clearly aligned to facilitate theft of intellectual property and trade secrets, rather than conduct traditional national security-related intelligence collection. These attacks prove the imposing threat brought to the U.S. and other countries by China.
With the world advancing as well as evolving every day, it comes with many drawbacks. Most countries in today's society possess weapons capable of destroying large areas within a short time. North Korea is one of those countries. Their leader, Kim Jong-un, has already announced that North Korea has 38.5 kilograms of weapon-grade plutonium. This type of buildup of nuclear weapons is all due to the increased technology as well as advancement of weapons over the years. Although technology has its benefits, we see that certain aspects can be detrimental to a society. In fact, North Korea has invested over $10 billion into their military spending and have threatened to use their newfound power if provoked. This type of aggression and advancement in weaponry is not only potentially dangerous, but can lead to a new type of warfare, a nuclear one. A warfare of this size and advancements would be very similar to the first appearance of automatic weapons and tanks. This new type of nuclear warfare has already shown the power it possesses. The world cannot have a repeat of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Unleashing and developing nuclear weapons capable of mass destruction can cause world powers to engage in conflict. In fact, North Korea continues to pursue nuclear tests. The most recent test was on January 6, 2016, at the Punggye-ri nuclear test site. The fact that North Korea does not heed to any warnings put out by other nations is repeating past historical events that eventually led to world wars. North Korea continues to test their long-range missiles and has shown that they have only one goal in mind: buildup of nuclear arms. No other country in recent years has tested more nuclear weapons than North Korea. Since 2006, they have tested more than 4 potential bombs and is one of the few countries still running tests. If this focus on advancement of more deadly weapons does not start to decline and get shifted to more positive ideas, these advancements in technology can be detrimental to present-day society as well as the future.
Even with the disproportionate value placed on offensive technology, there are still a few countries, like Sweden, that have placed a heavy importance on the creation of renewable energy. Sweden is trying to move towards complete dependence from fossil fuel. They held a goal to reach 50% independence by 2020, which they easily reached by acquiring 52% of their energy from renewable sources in 2012. 92% of that renewable energy is created through hydro plants, the biggest of which is called the Harsprånget plant and is located on the Low River, along with 14 other hydroelectric plants. In total, the Low River produces 16% of Sweden's energy. These plants are placed in dams along the river and allow water to fall through turbines, making them spin and creating electricity. The rest of Sweden's renewable energy comes from wind, solar, and biomass. Biomass is the burning of organic material like wood, corn, and even garbage to create heat, which is then transformed into energy. It can be turned into electricity by heating up water and using the created steam to turn turbines. It can also be turned into biofuel, which is used to run certain vehicles. However, this comes with its drawbacks. Creating biomass energy does release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases and does cost more than using fossil fuel, but the amount of released greenhouse gases are significantly less than fossil fuels, and the sources are more easily renewed. Besides using more commonplace methods of renewable energy, Sweden is also one of the leading countries in exploratory methods. One of their goals as of late is to create ethanol fuel from cellulose instead of grains. Cellulose is a structural organic compound that is present in all organic material, not just grains. This would allow producers to use the excess from food production to create ethanol instead of having to take away from a food source. This ethanol would then be used as an additive in gasoline fuel for cars, allowing the engines to run more smoothly. Another project that Sweden is working on in relation to ethanol is to turn it into a gasoline replacement. These two initiatives will work together to create an efficient, clean transportation system.
After seeing the unproportional efforts towards different advancements, countries need to reassess where they are placing their funding between new advancements in cyber warfare, nuclear warfare, and renewable energy. China is putting $143.6 billion into their cyber defense research, while North Korea is allocating $10 billion into their military research. All of that money is used to create weapons of mass destruction, while Sweden only has $546 million for their renewable energy program. It would be great if leaders would realize that what they're doing is futile and would change their efforts towards creating a more sustainable future, but this will never happen. All countries are too self-centered, thinking only about their own economic gain to make such a large change happen. Instead, it needs to be forced upon them. The UN has already signed a treaty called the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. Having broken this treaty, North Korea has had sanctions made against them by the UN, restricting the import and export of certain goods, freezing assets, restricting travel, and the prohibition of certain arms. However, these sanctions were not enough to change their focus from offensive tools. Harsher consequences have to be reinforced to coerce them onto a different path. If the government is not responsive, then it needs to be taken down. The UN has to use its available power to make sure that the agreements made are followed. These sanctions will bring about enough threat towards a leader and will make governments shift their policies. The money that was previously put into harmful technology can now be moved towards other areas like renewable energy because research in other areas won't be allowed. The people of the world need to understand that countries like North Korea and China may pose potentially devastating threats to the earth, and schools, especially higher education, need to promote higher awareness. The government must show that they are taking an interest in these countries' affairs and must prioritize safety of the citizens. While the idealistic situation of devoting a large proportion of militaristic spendings in a renewable energy program is hard to obtain, the UN must at least impose harsher consequences against countries such as North Korea that break the treaties put forth by UN leaders in the hope that it may bring about change.